And so Steve Weisman, let's pull Steve up. Steve Weisman, of course, from Scamicide.com, wrote The Truth About Avoiding Scams, Identity Theft Alert, and about 11 other books, who is an expert as a law professor at Bentley University out of Boston. Oh, look at the
ready.
Look at the sweatshirt.
Oh, man.
Listen, Steve, you're going to love this. As I'm in a meeting with Mary today, 15 minutes before the show, this comes across through BigBizShow.com. Hi there. I'm writing to seek your assistance in a matter arising from a recently completed project. The original contract sum has been fully dispersed to the contractor. I'm left with the over-invoiced amount in an account in the United Kingdom. I seek your cooperation to receive this fund on my behalf for an onward profitable venture in your country. The proceeds will be discussed upon receipt of your response. Kindly confirm your willingness to assist your earliest convenience by emailing tom777@collector.org for details. Thank you for your consideration. We await your speedy SPEEEDY response. Best, Tom Rich, Tom RCH. So is this? I've never seen this one before. It's coming through a form that you have to fill out on the
Big Biz Show
website.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I know that this doesn't surprise you, but this is the latest in
People fall for that?
This is the latest in the
Nigerian email letters.
Nigerian email scam, right?
Yeah, no, that one's legit, actually, and you can make a lot of money with it.
What, by sending them out?
Yeah.
So I kind of want to keep this and send back the email saying, yes, absolutely interested. What do we have to do?
Do it.
And we can follow along here.
How long you can string them.
And find out, and then, potentially get law enforcement.
Yeah, that would be interesting. The two things that kind of leap out at me is one with the spelling error. And this is one of the things that we used to look for before, because often when these come from Nigeria or a country where English is not necessarily the primary language, you'd see spelling and grammar errors. But now with AI, it's really easy to send one that looks perfect. So obviously not a good guy. But another thing is how ridiculous these are is often really intentional, because what they do is they don't want to waste time with anyone who isn't totally gullible. So they'll send something this ridiculous, and to the people that respond, unfortunately, they're going to lose some money.
We should make up a fake email address and send it back to him.
Totally.
As an answer. Right?
Stephen J.J. Weisman, Scamicide.com is the website. Steve, talk to us about this Ponzi schemer who was convicted in Georgia. I'm assuming death penalty, right?
Well, depends.
What the heck, it's Georgia. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. There are a few aspects of it. A guy named Todd Burkhalter, and he was running a classic kind of Ponzi scheme, stole about $380 million from his clients. He promised these pie-in-the-sky returns that never came. They were supposedly guaranteed, which also should have been a red flag. But one of the things that got me was the SEC started investigating him civilly in March of 2024. He didn't stop actually doing the Ponzi scheme until August. So even after he was being investigated, he was still doing it. But he was taking money for a lavish lifestyle. He also was paying his ex-wife's lawyers. But the key things here is the red flags that people miss. So the two things in a Ponzi scheme is, or any investment, you gotta understand the investment. And frankly, if anyone had even looked into the investments that he was supposedly providing, none of them were registered. So that should have been a red flag. And then you look at the person. He was unlicensed. So you have an unlicensed guy selling investments that are not registered.
I want to know, listen, and I realize, see, my parents would call me if something like that happened. But I mean, I think there's a lot of elderly folks, a lot of young adults that would just, maybe just based upon him being so warm and fuzzy, make that decision. Because I think they're preying on, as you've mentioned before, a very small percentage of the population. But that population is a sure thing, it seems like.
Well, you hit on an interesting thing when you said your parents and the Gen Zs, because both of them are particularly susceptible. They are the two most scam groups. Now, seniors, we have an excuse. There's a part of our brain that deals with skepticism that becomes less viable as we age. There've been a lot of studies about this. But Gen Z, boom, they jump into things, particularly if they see them online, without checking them out, and that's dangerous.
Hey, Stephen, I want to ask about this data breach with Panera Bread, as I am a member of Panera.
Uh-oh.
But I want to talk about also, because sometimes I'll go on to a website and set my password, and I sometimes reuse them, and it'll come up
Panera
and say,
1234.
Yeah, this will say
Ralph's 1234.
this email or this password was in a recent data breach. How does this know? Like, what, they're all talking to each other?
Yeah, there's particularly a site called Have I Been Pawned? Just take the A out of pawned. And it's a real good free site that you can go to that accumulates information from all of the data breaches. And people do go there. So yeah, you will find out that a password you've used has been taken in a data breach. And it's another reason why you made a face when you said you reused it, but it's really important to use unique passwords for every account. And an easy way of doing that is taking like a sentence. I don't like passwords. And your Amazon password can be, I don't like passwords, 2 exclamation points, AMA. And you can adapt that to a unique
By the way,
password.
I'm going to be on Amazon in a moment here shopping on your account. Hey, Steve, my question for you is, even if our social or our birthday isn't compromised, it's still important, right? I mean, it's still, that's no easier and no better, correct? Tell us why.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up, because a lot of people look at like the Panera data breach. And, in this one, it had our names, our email addresses, and our account numbers. And, frankly, we look at that and go, it's not our social security number. It's not something they're going to get a bank account. But what happens is these bad guys will accumulate information and use that for what they call spear phishing. And that is, they will tailor that email or text message to us about something we're involved with, because they know more about us. They gather this data. And so maybe you even get something that relates to the Panera data breach, and they want you to click on it. Or it's something dealing with any kind of a restaurant or anything that you're interested in. The more data they gather, the more likely we are to trust an email that is specifically focused for us. So really got to take these seriously.
Stephen J.J. Weisman, he is the Scam Man.
Thanks,
the
Steve.
website, scamicide.com. Recently sprayed some Scamicide on my latest flare-up, and everything is fine.